Hi, Om. Welcome
Hi, how
to
are you?
the podcast with the Smart Step classes. And yeah, we are really happy to have you. And we would like to know your journey that how you have planned to start your education, what all
Yeah.
you did. So basically, the idea to run this podcast is basically to provide an insight to the coming aspirants so that they can get to know that what all preparation is important to be done, how they are supposed to take care of their profile, and what are the few tips that will be required to be taken care for the students since the very beginning, right?
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
believe that now, as you have already completed the particular journey and you are just waiting to take off the flight and land into your dream project,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
half of the way you are done with the process, so you have a insightful ideas that how it has been processed. So
right.
my first question is, when did you decided that you would like to pursue your further educations in US?
I contacted you, I think, last year around September or October, right? Say about, say 3, 4 months ago, I started thinking about going to America specifically. I was thinking about going outside to work. So I've just a little background for everybody watching. I've been working in the fitness sector for about 3 years now. I worked as a strength coach almost in both the places I worked. And the reason I wanted to go outside was to get better work opportunity. Mostly because people in India are not willing to spend a lot of money when it comes to fitness, right? And also there is a very stigma based around only some castes do fitness or the sport that I compete in,
Very true.
powerlifting, right? So I wanted to move to a country where this is a little more, the society is a little more supportive. The people are willing to shell out more money to get a better physique, get a better coach, stuff like that. So I started looking for work basically. Then a friend of my parents lives in America, and so I was very, I had a stereotype of America being a very soft state now. But when I talked to him, I talked how he raises his children. So I thought, okay, America will give me better opportunity in terms of studying as well, because I come from a humanities background, and then switching to a science stream would have been a problem in countries like Canada, UK, New Zealand, anywhere else basically,
So I
just
have
in
a
America.
question here. I have a question with this. So let's suppose as you have decided to move abroad in the later part,
Right.
but do you think that if you would have prepared to study in foreign universities in your school days, would have been changing your route what you have taken now? So do you think कि जब पहले तुमने जो भी प्रोसेस किया था उसमें अगर तुमने ये डिसीजन अपने कॉलेज टाइम में लिया होता तो ये तुम्हारे लिए ज्यादा फ्रूटफुल होता? क्या ऐसा कभी
Definitely,
लगता है?
definitely. बिल्कुल लगता है. I देखो, provided that the 3 years gave me more insight on how this space work sector works, but I still would have liked if I was in another country studying what I want to study, getting more education about the thing that I want to work towards. अगर 3 साल पहले that would have happened, that would have been definitely been amazing. The 3 years that I've pretty much, earned not a lot of money. I definitely gained experience, definitely gained knowledge, worked with lot of amazing people, a lot of more amazing coaches. All that provided, I definitely would have gotten better opportunity if I had started theory, no doubt
So
about it.
मेरे ख्याल में जो फर्स्ट टेक अवे स्टूडेंट्स के लिए आएगा एंड दैट इज दैट इफ यू हैव any 0.5% instinct to have your
Hmm.
educations abroad, it is
Hmm.
better that you start working on the same while you are in academics during your school life.
Definitely. Well, definitely. Once you're in 12th, na, you should start working on your IELTS, get your passport first. If for anybody that's not living in a city like Delhi, state like Delhi, if it's not a metropolitan city, it's a very less, you see very less people getting passports made. Get your passport made, take a month, take maybe 2 months at max. Get your IELTS done, get those two things off the book, then you have time to prepare for what university you want to apply to.
Others, right?
Yeah.
And how much time did you take in order to analyze that which subject of study? I mean, for here, मेरे को लगता है कि हमारे viewers को ये जानना जरूरी है कि तुम्हारा नाम, तुम्हारा location and where exactly कौन कौन से सब्जेक्ट्स पढ़ के तुमने ट्वेल्थ अपना पास किया है, and then you switch to which subject and now you're planning to study what?
Right. So when I was in, this is funny. This is funny because when I was in 10th, I came to my dad. जब वो stream वाला form मिलता है ना, what stream do you want to select? I came to my dad thinking अगर इनको humanities बोलूंगा, he'll beat me up. So I told him that I want to do science and I want to do physiotherapy. So this is the Om that was in 10th class.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I told him I want to do physiotherapy, so I'm taking math, so I'm taking science with biology. And amazingly, my dad told me that Pagal hai kya, you'll ruin your life. You have no social life at all. Do something that is doable. Take humanities if you want. I did not know at that time that this was a trap.
Okay.
Once I filled that form, once I got into 12th, 11th, he started pushing me to go either into the NDA or start applying, start studying for UPSC. I told him, nahi, I don't want to do the NDA. Not because I don't love my country. Of course, I love my country. But because us समय ना, there was a lot of hype around how you have to submit to your seniors, how you have to do anything and everything that they say, how you're treated very harshly when you join the NDA initially. That is the reason I did not want to join the NDA. Now when I look back, if I would have done it, it would not have been a bad thing. But yeah, now I'm in a field that I love to work towards. I love to know how the body works, how body reacts to different things, right? But tab ka Om knew what would be happening 5 years later. But yes, so I took humanities at that time. I had history, I had political science. I was in love with psychology and I was in love with physical education. English has been a good subject to me always. I hated history. I was okay with pol science as well. After my 12th, uh, I wanted to apply to a mass media school, mass communication school, not because I wanted to do it, but because I liked the idea of being a sports broadcaster. Because that was the only thing that was remotely related to what I was as a person, as a sports person being out of my life. So I was thinking I will do that. But then जब lockdown आया ना, तब I started learning about the human body, human anatomy, biomechanics, nutrition and stuff. Just after that, जैसे ही lockdown खत्म हुआ, I started competing in powerlifting, and I met a lot of good people. I met a good coach uh, in that competition where I was acting as a referee, and consequently, he gave me a job just out of the lockdown. He told me, "You know a lot," even though I had no certifications, I had no degrees in this field, but he understood that I knew a lot about this. So he gave me a job. I was a bit hesitant. My parents were a bit hesitant to go into a job having no degrees, basically. But yeah, that worked out well. And now I know what I want to do. I want to pursue something in the biomechanical field. I want to understand how the human anatomy works when it's
So
subjected
now
to
you are
outside
going
forces.
to pursue your health science from California State University.
Yeah, I'm gonna pursue my bachelor's will be kinesiology in exercise science, majoring in exercise science. But in Cal State, it starts as a pre-health major. So, for example, nursing, a lot of other things start as a singular major and then diverge out into 4 or 5 majors
In the later
after the
part,
third semester. Yeah, after the third
obviously,
semester.
because it is a bachelor's program, so the umbrella is
It's a very big deal.
reportedly more than, because it is going to be concise, or it is going to take its very niche way while you are moving further for your master's, I think. Right.
Definitely, definitely.
So how this journey of the university process and everything worked with you? I mean, how was your take? How was your experience with that?
Uh, of course, being the naive person that I am, I started off looking at, things like University of Florida, University of Iowa, University of Notre Dame, universities that have a very high tuition fee, very high living expenses, and a relatively lower chance to get in, right? But slowly I realized that now that I'm going for my bachelor's, it matters not definitely not completely where I study from, but it matters on how I build my connections, how much I study, how much I am able to be debt free after my bachelor's.
Right.
Okay, so Cal State having a relatively lesser tuition fee, definitely, it's been a number one. It's been the number one university that you and me have been trying to apply to.
Right.
We also applied to a couple more universities, but my mind was always stuck to Fresno State. So yeah, and also while I was researching for the university, there was actually a book that I used to read on coaching by Dr. Wade Gilbert. He's a professor in the kinesiology department. And so once I got to know that he's a professor there, I had a little email exchange with him a couple of times. And he told me about the coursework. I told me how are you as a professor, how are the other professors, how are uh, things like how's the coursework, how's the opportunity to learn through internships and stuff. And I liked what I saw. I was like, I'll take this university. Also, of course, again, me being a sports person, I love watching sports as well. And Fresno State is a very big football school in the G5 conference.
I think there's a takeaway again here, because most of the time what happens is when the students are starting to choose and freezing out their programs or universities in overseas, I have observed that maximum time, almost out of 100, I would say 85 to 90% of the time, the students are just focusing on the ranking of the particular university.
That's
right?
True, and I did that too. I did that too.
Right. However, when you practically work into the skin of this process, you analyze and you realize that this is not actually only the ranking of the university that will help you. Eventually, how your program is being served in that particular university, that is all matters, and what are the post education, promises.
Yeah.
Or I would not call it promises, I would rather call it opportunities that the university may offer you after the completion of the program, that should be the prime objective of the students while processing this, because most of the time the students just go to the universal ranking of the university, and they just want to punch in for the number one university. Right? Which most of the students, or most of the time I have seen that does not work out, and the student become disheartened of not getting absorbed by the university. But I believe a realistic approach towards choosing your program and university means a lot.
Definitely.
So what, according to you, during this process, how you have observed, what has been the difference in the process that you have observed, I mean, in the Indian university or in the universities outside India? So what, according to you, has been the major difference in the process?
Because again, me being a bachelor student, I did also apply to, 3 years ago, I started applying to universities like the IPU, TU. They both had entrance exams. So IPU had an entrance exam and TU had an entrance exam. They were like, the exams were very easy. I scored good on both exams. I had gotten a rank of, I think, 444. The admission process also very easy, but it's just that I don't really have something to say on this. It was very meh.
But don't you think that the difference of the profile building?
That's definitely. That's definitely.
Right?
Yes.
And profile building is something which cannot be done and dusted in the extreme 11th hour. That 100%. Ideally needs to be processed 100%. And it should be worked upon since the very beginning of your school academics, right? So if you haven't done that right in way, then I think mentioning things in the SOP, the statement of purpose, or during the essay writing, the responsibility of the counselor, I believe, becomes double, in order to guide the students to mention the relative and relevant points, so that the university can understand the requirement of you seeking admission in the same.
Definitely. Well, the purpose of admissions in USA and the purpose of admissions in India is very different. India it's very exam based. I would not even call it merit based. It's just an exam based. In America, they look at you holistically. They look at you how you're as a person, what you do for the society, what you do for others, and then what you do for yourself.
So holistic development, and I would say an overall development of a candidate is a must to be inculcated.
Definitely.
Okay. So now my next question to you, Om, is that how important it is, right, to find a right counselor for yourself during this process? How much it is important?
Oh, it's very important. It's very important. Especially me being a person who I never had a dream to go to America to study. The only reason that I'm going to America to study, going outside of India to study, is because India, in this particular field that I'm studying in, has no universities in India that make a good course.
Right.
There are a couple universities, private universities, that will take 25 lakhs for the entirety of the course and give you a degree. but the coursework is very
Exactly. That needs to be worked
very
upon.
bad, definitely. And जैसे the coursework is bad, the community is bad, the people there are not giving you opportunities as well. That's the difference.
So, again, it is important to have a right counselor since the very beginning
Right,
of
right,
the
right,
profile.
right, 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 right.
Right. Okay. Any, how would you like to
Sorry,
share
sorry.
your
Let me get back to this the difference between having a good counselor and not having a good counselor. I was very worried about getting a counselor because I saw a lot of Reddit posts saying that, I would not take names, but many large scale based counseling teams take your money and do not give you anything. They don't even, like, when your money is gone, they will apply for universities that they're partnered with, पहली बात, that they're getting more money from. दूसरी बात, they will not even complete our application. ठीक है? They will do no follow-up for the university. Whereas with Smart Step, of course, Vangi ma'am has been, well, she's been more concerned about me than me getting admitted. Seriously, well, it's no joke. You've been more concerned about me getting my application ready from the beginning, getting my IELTS done from the beginning. You've been more concerned about me checking the emails regularly. You've been more concerned about me getting the visa slot date properly and me being ready for the visa interview actually.
Actually, I mean, this is like, we come up and we are the believers of a policy that study abroad is just not a process, it's a life of a candidate.
Definitely.
Right. And if it is about life, you actually needs to be very particular. You really need to look into every aspect of it so that
Yes.
there is no regret left with the candidate, right? Because I mean, let's suppose if I take a counselor, or let's suppose any counselor in Smart Step classes, if they are just taking the counseling as a general conversation with the student, that is not going to serve the purpose.
Right.
Because the entire time zone is different, the process is different, the protocols are different, right? So it is very important, I believe, as a counselor, that you really need a strong communication, a transparent communication with your candidate. So we have
100%.
always believe in being the same to the students, and I'm happy that you have also experienced the
100% honesty. I talked to some other counselors. I talked to, again, no names. I talked to some big short companies out there. The conversation that you have with the salesperson there, that just puts you off in a very,
exactly
very weird manner.
exactly because this is not a sales and marketing job.
Exactly. You've
Honestly.
been with me. You were the person that I talked to for the first call.
Yes.
You've been the person that has been with me throughout the whole process.
Because that is
So that has
important.
been
Because this is
exactly.
so sensitive that even if we miss out on even 0.5% on your profile, we are not going to be bearing the loss, but the student may have a strong toss of the
Right.
entire process, because it's a human nature. I mean, I may forget 5 things if I talk to 100 people about 100 different topics, but if I'm entitled to serve, let's suppose, 20 students, so those 20 students are going to be my responsibility since the very beginning until the very end.
Yes.
Right. So any messages that you would like to give to the coming aspirants or the future generation that they should take care whenever they are processing and they are planning for the education overseas?
Start early. पहली बात तो, the first of things, start early. Start building yourself. If you want to go to a good university, if you have money, amazing. If you don't have money, you want to secure a scholarship, start building your profile early. Start doing social work very early. Start building your co-curriculars. Play some sport. Do anything. Play some sport. And of course, keep your academics in mind. Get a good CGPA. But the CGPA will be the last thing to help you get a scholarship. Okay, what you write in that essay of yours, what you tell the admissions counselor that is reading your essay sitting in America, that you deserve to be in their university, that you being in their university will give them something out of it.
Right.
That is the primary thing. Secondly, if you're not very well educated on how to apply, how to write SOPs, how to do everything, get a counselor, get a good counselor, get a counselor that you feel very homely with, that you feel connected to, that has a very good channel of communication with. Because that is very important. Having an open channel of communication at all times is very important. Because having a 12-hour time difference, you might get an email at 12 in the night, and you might have to reply to it in the next hour. What do you do? You shoot your shot with the counselor, you text, send them the email. If you get a reply, I got replies all the time. That is what I'm thankful for. So get a good counselor, start early, keep your finances in check. That's the third thing. मेरे visa interview के एक दिन पहले, 2 दिन पहले तक, I had a little less money in my savings account to show. So, but then I got it taken care of. But yeah, these 3 things: have good co-curriculars, have good grades, start early, have a good counselor, and keep your finances in check. हर समय be very present in what you are doing. If you hand it over just to the
And I
counselor,
think that's not
it will
only with
never
the
happen.
students, that's also with the counselor assigned.
Definitely,
That
definitely.
be hands up every
Definitely,
moment. For the
definitely.
5-6 months duration, the process goes on for 5-6 months, I believe, right? And
Yes,
it's not
yes,
a month's
yes.
process. But both the candidate and the counselor is expected to be on the toes,
Yes, yes,
right? So that
definitely.
is
And have
something
patience. Have patience. You might hear back from the university when you don't expect to.
very true. So, Om, thank you so much for sparing your valuable time. And we are definitely glad and we are hoping that the students, the aspiring students, would definitely have to have a lot of information and insight clarity after watching this video. And definitely, we plan to conduct a video once you have landed to US in order to
Definitely,
have
definitely.
a space wherein the student will get to know the life in US. So, till
100%.
then, take care. And we wish you all the luck for your future endeavors. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
You too have a great day. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.